The last month and the last week have shown us a lot of things. Chief among those is that an eUTxO functionally programmed smart contract blockchain works just fine. We also found out that our greatest strength is ironically also our biggest problem. The Cardano community is too enormous and demand is too strong for the blockchain to be able to ramp up slowly like its counterparts may have done only years ago. Luckily, Cardano has a plan. Ready? Let's go. We're going to discuss the plans laid out in the January Cardano 360 to make Cardano the most competitive DeFi blockchain by the end of 2022. We'll discuss some new information about the Pavia third land sale and some speculation that the SEC may be laying the groundwork for a very heavy hammer that it could smash down on DeFi. One thing is patently obvious. Cardano right now, when it is set against a pool depth like this, a queue that is 11,250 orders long, Cardano is not a speeding bullet or a bullet train of any type. On the contrary, when we're working in a queue depth of 4 orders, things seem to execute just fine. I think it was either this pool or the Ardana ADA pool. I had an order execute in something like 8 minutes, that quick. And I've had like multiple orders execute in pools like this one, where the order depth is not that deep. But we saw the same thing prior to the Sunday swap launch on Muesli Swap. Orders were executing smoothly and quickly. But as soon as Sunday Swap launched and it became apparent that we were going to have order queues like this, 11,250 orders, it became apparent that Cardano would not have the same luxury that some smart contract blockchain projects have had only years ago. And that's that they could grow along with the demand. The demand was very low and the blockchain's capacity, its throughput could kind of grow along with the demand for these DeFi products. Cardano will not have that luxury. The demand is just too great. The Cardano community is way too big and too strong. Luckily, Cardano realizes this. And this guy right here, John Woods, let us know today in the Cardano 360 for January that Cardano is about to experience a gigantic growth spurt. And a huge chunk of it is going to happen this year in 2022. He started out by saying, hey, Sunday Swap and dApps like it heavily use scripts. And right now we can fit about 4 scripts per block. The rest of the block is regular transactions. A single Sunday Swap script, by his estimation, will satisfy about 4 different swaps. So we've got 4 scripts and something like 4 different swaps per script. So we can handle like 16 swaps per block. This is obviously not enough. So the next question is, what are they going to do about it? He says the first thing they're going to do is increase block size again in Q1. And number 2, they're going to increase Plutus memory units. So you'll be able to have more scripts, and each script will be able to execute more swaps. You're probably aware that they just increased the Plutus memory units on Tuesday, and that we kind of have this 5-second block propagation time budget to spend in optimizing the throughput of the network. John Woods tells us that pipelining and input endorsers will actually give him more space in his 5-second block propagation budget and allow for even more increases in block size and Plutus memory usage. He sounded pretty confident here. He sounded very confident that in 2022, we're going to see vast improvement. He said, L1, layer 1, the base layer in Cardano will become the most competitive and best performing L1 in DeFi in 2022. That's his personal goal. So he's straight up telling us our base layer will be the best base layer in DeFi in 2022. And he didn't sound like, hey, maybe we'll get this. Aspirationally, we'll get this. No, he communicated that it's his goal to actually achieve this. Bold words, but I love it. He also mentioned that, of course, there are going to be things that dApps like SundaeSwap will be able to do to tweak some things in their platform to make things a better user experience. Maybe in the case of SundaeSwap, he suggested increasing priority of cancellations. I think anybody who's tried to cancel an order on SundaeSwap over the last week or so would probably agree with that sentiment. Kevin Hammond also told us about some changes to the Cardano node 1.3.3, which has also been optimized to accommodate these heavier loads on the network. Nigel Hemsley let us know that they've got a whole bunch of new tools and products coming to Cardano this year, including things like the Light Wallet and the dApp Store. And they've got a roadmap for this that they're going to make available to all of us pretty soon. He said the February, June, October fixed release events are hopefully going to make it easier for all of the partners of the Cardano in the Cardano ecosystem, including entities like exchanges and stake pool operators and etc. The ecosystem has just become too gigantic to be able to sort of ad hoc announce release dates. And instead, they're just going with these fixed release dates, which should make things easier. So in describing what's going to happen during those 3 fixed release events, he said February will be a release, not a hard fork combinator event. It'll be on efficiency, performance, and optimization and underlying Plutus work to prepare for all of the SIPs and etc. We keep talking about it, but I think everybody's aware that SIPs 31 through 33 are going to be very welcomed optimizations of the Cardano network. Maybe most importantly, the reference scripts SIP 33 optimization, where they will no longer have to include the actual Plutus script in the block every time they want to use it. They'll just be able to reference the location of the script instead. This is going to save us a lot of space in each block. Obviously, not having to include the actual script will be a huge leap forward when right now the number of scripts we can store in a block is such a huge issue. As to the June release event, he said there will be significant work on pipelining and Plutus script optimization, and that June release event will be the initial release of Hydra. Obviously, Hydra is something everybody's been excited for a long time. And Hydra is an L2. So it's in addition to all of this layer 1, all this base layer optimization we've been talking about. He said the October release event is less well defined. John Woods wrapped it all up with another very bold statement. He said he thinks the growth of Cardano's performance will actually outpace demand with all of these improvements this year. I hope he's correct, because that would be a very incredible turn of events. A lot of people ask about the Pavia third land cell, and we got a little bit of an update today. So we learned that it's going to take place in February. I think we already knew. We already knew from the update a few days ago that it was going to be early February, or likely to be early February, they said. This release says the final NFT land sale will be in February, but more importantly, it's going to be a white list. People have mixed feelings on this. Some people are happy there will be a white list. Some people feel like they won't be able to get on the white list and are much less happy. They say they'll give us some notice about when this is going to happen and the actual process. I'm interested to see if an NFT project this big, because let's face it, Pavia is one of the biggest NFT projects in Cardano, and it's definitely the biggest metaverse project in Cardano. And if they can figure out a way to have a fair NFT drop when there's so much demand, it's kind of mirroring what's happening in Cardano largely. There's so much demand for these Pavia NFTs, or at least there was in the second cell. It'll be really interesting to see if they can figure out a way that actually feels fair to distribute these highly sought after NFTs. Of course, I think there will inevitably be some people who feel left out no matter how they execute this final land sell, because at the end of the day, it seems like demand is just going to exceed the possible supply no matter what they do. The SEC is at it again, guys. This is an amendment to the definition of exchange to include systems that offer the use of non-firm trading interest and communication protocols to bring together buyers and sellers of securities. So they want to expand this definition of exchange to include these so-called communication protocols, which bring together buyers and sellers of securities. And the kicker is, the comment period on this proposed amendment is only 30 days. We're talking in very broad terms here so as not to bore everyone to death with the details, but you won't be surprised to learn that our friend, Crypto Mom, SEC Commissioner Hester Pierce, immediately published a dissenting statement on this proposal to amend that definition. She pointed out that the amendment is 650 pages long, contains over 220 separate comment requests, and this is way too big and bulky a change to only give the public 30 days to read this, understand it, consider everything, identify problems, and then comment on it. She goes as far as to say that the commission's precipitous rush to plow through the comment period, almost as if it were a mere formality in our process, presents a greater immediate risk to the market than any of the issues that may have led to this recommendation. That is very strong language. Of course, legal commentators from within crypto were quick to jump on this as well. Here we have Gabriel Shapiro of LexNode, and he makes the points that you would expect. Hey, communication protocol sounds pretty scary for crypto. And he points out that under this new paradigm, the persons arguably making available automated market makers could be more persuasively argued by the SEC to have exchange, registration, and reporting obligations. I'm paraphrasing what he wrote here, because participation as a liquidity provider in a particular AMM pool can potentially be argued to be a communication. I think he means communication here, to be a communication of trading interest regarding those tokens, the AMM smart contract, or a website providing information about the protocol implemented within such AMM smart contract can potentially be argued to be a communication protocol, which brings together buyers and sellers through such communication of trading interests. We won't get into all the intricate details here, but he points out even a block explorer could be argued to be a securities exchange under this definition expansion, because it could be argued to constitute a communications protocol through which buyers and sellers can interact to communicate trading interest resulting in a trade. Obviously, none of these are good ramifications for DeFi or probably crypto in general. And we already know from the rhetoric of head of the SEC, Gary Gensler, that he wants to go after DeFi protocols. He seems to feel that a lot of the decentralized finance applications in crypto are actually centralized. I think he's been searching for a legal foothold to enforce that same ideology. And I think everybody in crypto is sort of wondering, maybe this is the beginning of the creation of that foothold. If you want more details on this, I'll let you go read this LexNode article with many more details. I hope you are going into a weekend where you spend 0% of your time thinking about crypto regulatory issues, and instead you're doing very, very fun things. And I will talk to you soon.